I've been joined here by Dr. Hilda Boye, who is CEO, JH Health Connect, and Vice President, Pediatric Society of Ghana. Hilda, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Happy Eid.
Happy Eid to you too.
You
are looking at mom.
Oh, yeah, because I want to be part of the party, you understand?
Yeah,
so I have
party
to be...
no pay.
No, the first time I didn't do some, so we are eating, so I have to be part of it. But I'm really struggling with my, I don't know how these guys do it. I'll let Mariama teach me. Anyway, we are talking about neonatal jaundice. What is that?
Neonatal jaundice simply means yellowing in the eyes or on the skin of a baby who is less than a month of life. So you have a baby less than a month of life, has yellowing of the eyes and the skin. And jaundice could occur in any age, but this particular one we are dealing with is the one that occurs in babies less than a month old.
Okay, but what causes that anyway?
There are many causes, and most of it is going to be physiological because the baby's liver is not mature to handle the load from the breakdown of red blood cells, so then they could get jaundice. So that one often in the first few days of life, peak around the 3 days, 4 days of life, and it will clear on its own without having to do any intervention. And for that one also, the levels do not go high enough to require any sort of intervention. Then we have things like G6PD deficiency.
Okay.
So G6PD deficiency means that the baby has a deficiency or a lower level of the enzyme G6PD. And the G6PD, and that is supposed to help with the integrity of the red blood cell. So it helps to protect the red blood cell from frequent breaking down. Okay, so that when they have the deficiency in the enzyme, they tend to break down their red blood cells much quicker and on contact with certain things, like if they are on medications, certain medications that can cause them to break their red blood cells, or if they are eating fava beans or they come into contact with camphor. So those could cause a child or a baby who has G6PD deficiency to have neonatal jaundice. Then we look at the time that the baby is born. If the baby was born premature or before the 9 months or before the time that the baby was due to have been born, the baby has a higher chance of having the neonatal jaundice than a baby who was born at 9 months.
So is this purely medical issues, or it could be as a result of lifestyle of the mother?
It's purely medical.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes, there's almost nothing you can do about it, and it depends. So infections are also a cause. So there are some cases when you will be able to prevent.
Okay.
So if you have a baby who has G6PD deficiency, for example, and mother does not use camphor in the baby's clothing or her own clothing or the house, then the chances that this baby will have the jaundice from the G6PD will come down, or the severity can come down. So those are the few things that you may be able to do something about, but you can't prevent the child completely all the time from getting the neonatal jaundice.
If you're not a first-time mother, you probably might be able to spot some differences, in your newborn's life quite early. But for instance, for newborn, for new mothers, first-time mothers, how would you be able to tell that the baby has neonatal jaundice? Can you tell? Are there signs?
So, okay. That is why we keep on doing the advocacy, because for all these things, they are things that you can learn about, and once you learn about it, it's easier to spot. If you notice that your baby has yellowish discoloration of the eyes, then that's jaundice right there. For the skin, it may take some technical eyes to be able to pick up, but often it starts from, you may see that the eye has become yellowed or is jaundice, then you know that it's jaundice, and that occurs often in the first few days of life. There are a few that could occur before the baby is 24 hours old, but often it will occur after 24 hours. So after a day, like day 2, day 3 of life, baby may become jaundice, and the severity also varies. So there are some that the intensity or the deepness of the yellow is mild, and there are some that the yellowness is very, very, very loud. So you can see that it's become really deep, and that's the kind that we don't want. We don't want babies to be kept for too long at home for the jaundice or the bilirubin levels to go really high before they come in, because then in some cases it can lead to damage of the brain and in some cases death. Wow. There are also some, and it's good to also spot it early, because there are some that affects the liver. We call that biliary atresia. And if you have a baby who is jaundiced, the baby's stool color is pale or white like chalk. It's not normal. Baby's stool has to be yellow. Yes, yellowish. Sometimes cuddles, somebody says like a gushy like or something. No, well, just a description for people to be able to
to tell. This is, so which one is this?
This is the pale stools, or the chalky like.
So this baby has jaundice.
So this baby most likely has jaundice and most likely has a condition that we call biliary atresia. But once you notice this, you know it's abnormal and you should report to hospital, even if you haven't spotted anything else, because baby stool has to be yellow in color, not chalk-like.
But how difficult is it to fight neonatal jaundice?
How difficult it is. So we have
easy.
Well, so what we as Pediatric Society of Ghana are fighting is the disability and the death that occurs as a result of the neonatal jaundice. And we know that if you have a baby who is born at term or on time, like 9 months after pregnancy, about 5 to 6 out of 10 of them are going to be jaundiced. If you have a baby who is born before time, about 8 out of 10 of them are likely to become jaundiced. So we are saying that neonatal jaundice is really common. And unfortunately, there are some of them who come too late. Even now, they come too late. We've been doing a lot of awareness, advocacy, talking about it, but there are still some who come in too late. So we are saying that look out for the jaundice in your newborns and report to hospital early. Now, in this fight that we have been on, we noticed that it's not all the time that is like the mother's fault or the father's fault for not showing up early. We notice that there are times when they spot it early, they go to a health facility and somebody tells, a healthcare professional tells them that go home, it will go. And unfortunately, it gets worse. So when we target our interventions or during our advocacy, we target our healthcare professionals also. And interestingly, it's not every health worker who is aware that there's a condition called neonatal jaundice or this is how to go about the treatment. And so the heightened awareness is supposed to increase the knowledge generally amongst the population, so everybody should know about it. And if you go to hospital or you go somewhere and somebody tells you that just go and do sunbathing and they don't do anything more, tell you to come back at this point or at that point, then you know that you may need to seek a second opinion or go somewhere else. And if you are not sure, you may also look for a place where there's a pediatrician who can help to manage your baby.
But how successful have you been, you know, with your advocacy work?
Generally, the education has gone, you know, has improved. And many more mothers, many more health workers now are aware that there's something called neonatal jaundice and that the intervention or the treatment could be to observe baby depending on the severity, and also the phototherapy use, as well as exchange blood transfusion if they come too late, or surgery in the cases of the biliary atresia and co. So generally the awareness has been heightened, but it's not just an issue of awareness. There's also the issue of laboratory support. So not all facilities are able to test for the bilirubin level, which will help to decide what way you're going next. It will help you to know as a healthcare worker what kind of jaundice this baby has and what intervention that you should initiate for this baby. Not all facilities have it. So during this period, we also advocate that facilities are provided with some of this infrastructure, some of this lab equipment that they need to be able to conduct the tests to diagnose baby. Now, another thing, phototherapy. So last year, we started the one region, one set of phototherapy equipment initiative, and this was supposed to help to equip facilities with the phototherapy units that are needed to treat neonatal jaundice, the one that could go to the brain and cause the brain damage. And thankfully, we had the Wege, his 75-year group, donating 2 full sets. We had AHS, Africa Health Supplies, they also donated 2 equipment to us. And then recently, we've had the Rotary Club of Accra East, also donating 2 sets of the phototherapy units to us, and we have distributed these to different regions in the country. We cannot do everything, so we encourage people to support us in this fight. So if there's a hospital in your neighborhood, it's your birthday, it's your MP's birthday, or it's somebody's birthday, you can decide to remember these newborns and go there and donate equipment to save these babies. And I'm saying phototherapy equipment now because, I mean, that is what we are very interested in now. But there are a lot of other things that you could get for a hospital near you to improve the care. And you never know how you will even benefit in the future if you are able to support in this fight.
Well, so we'll also spread the gospel, you know, and in our own small way contribute to making babies healthier and survive. Dr. Hilda, thank you very much.
It's too short. Let's continue.
No, your money is finished.
Oh, yeah,
we are going for Indo.
Okay,
we'll join you later, but for now, we have to go for
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Hilda.
you.